question every one of us needs to ask herself and himself. Why do we backbite? Why do we say negative things about people when they are not there? And we rarely say it in front of them, right? So now I need to analyze, look internally, and ask myself, why do I backbite? Why can I not control my tongue? Number one is actually anger. How many times someone said something to you or did something to you, you did not respond, you couldn't, or for whatever the reason you didn't do it. Then you go back home and you start saying all the negative things about that person. That's backbiting. So number one is anger. Number two, which is really sad, you are sitting in a gathering and they start talking, especially if I want to fit in, I want to be with them. And they start talking about somebody and I just go along. Why? Why I am not that person who change evil to good or enjoying good and prohibit evil. If they are saying something not good, I need to explain, say it, and definitely don't be part of it. Third, which is subtle reason. We want to praise ourselves. We want to let people know that we are better than them. Sometimes we don't do it directly. Sometimes we do it indirectly. We put people down, right? So for example, somebody says their children are amazingly very well behaved, right? I don't like that, right? I want to praise myself. So I'm going to say, no, my children are even better. I just put the other people down because I want to praise myself. So sometimes it's indirectly. I put people down to praise myself. The fourth, which is a major disease of the heart, is jealousy. And I need to really dig into me. What's the big deal if they praised somebody? Someone praised someone. Why do I get upset? Why don't I say, Alhamdulillah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me what He gave them? Versus you put them down because you're jealous of them. Another reason which is really sad, just to have fun. Subhanallah, to have fun. Make fun of the teacher. Make fun of this person or that person. Just to have fun, Let's give them something to talk about, as they say. And then you start backbiting about people, making fun of them. Did you see how she said that? Did you see? And then you make jokes. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. There is no reason, the very few reasons, we're going to come to them. But in general, there is no reason to backbite people. So what do? It's becoming so norm. It's becoming the natural. If you don't backbite, people say, what is wrong with you? Number one, if I work on my heart, and I work on my heart and the relationship with Allah, if I can train myself, especially in these blessed days, that He's looking at me, as He is looking at me when I was standing up praying Taraweeh, and it's so hard, and I was fasting, it was so difficult. And He was looking at me and I was like, did you accept? Did I do it well? Remember this, that He is looking at me also when I am saying things that is not pleasing to Him. Number two, remember the hadith of the bankrupt. Do you really want your good deeds to go to somebody else? In fact, you are upset with them, you're doing them a favor. When I backbite them, I'm doing them a favor, I'm giving them my good deeds. So that's number two. Number three, remember what Allah said in the Quran. Every time you want to say something, remember that dead human being or that dead animal. Do you really want to go and eat from their meat? So what about, I am in a gathering, very common scenario. I did not say anything, but they are saying, they are backbiting, whoever is there, mentioning somebody who's not there in a negative way. I have three options. I don't have a fourth one. Number one, I need to remind people that we should not say these things because that's backbiting and I don't want to disobey Allah. Well, I can't say this. Let's say it's an elderly person and that I can't. Or I said it, but then they did not listen to me. Number two, try to change the subject. move to another completely subject. Well, I tried, it didn't work. Then you need to leave. Absolutely need to leave, so you're not part of it. And another one good reason for us, or one good way for me also to control my tongue, whenever I talk negative about somebody, if I take a minute and look at me and say, well, look at what I have done. What is my shortcomings? And if I focus on my shortcomings, I'm not going to be focusing on the shortcomings of the other. One last point, and I'm sure many of you are thinking, there is no way, there is no excuses to say negative things about people. Well, yes, but let's not take this as an open invitation. It is very few of them that, yes, I can speak negatively about somebody. This is a true story. When someone asked someone about marriage proposal, so a person asked an elderly person about person who is proposing, and the way the elderly answered was so beautiful, to tell them that this person has an issue, has an anger issue. He did not go on and on and on in saying it. Rather, he said, he comes from a place where the people are famous of having a temper. So number one, I am allowed to say the negative things about someone when I am asked for marriage or for an advice, but you don't go on and on and on just for that something. For example, you want to build a house and your friend or your family use that builder, and you're asking them for an advice. If I was not happy with that builder, for example, or that painter or anything I use, and I'm going to say just a simple statement, I will not use them again. Then you deliver the message. So the first one is when, in an advice, I was asked for an advice. Number two, if injustice happened against me and I am going to a judge and I need my right, well, he's going to ask me what that person did. But again, you have to limit to the point, to the point. Three, if that the reason I'm saying the negative thing is because there is a huge or a big something that is going to happen if I didn't say it, meaning تغيير المنكر, you want to change things that is not accepted. Also, in case of you need to warn the Muslims from someone, but you're sure, you've seen it. For example, let's say a teacher, and that teacher taught your children, but he or she did not do good, or they did something really bad. They didn't ask you, but you heard that they are using him or her. You need to tell. So تحذير المسلمين, you're literally caring about the other people and you're warning them, but again, with a minimum. Number five, if someone is well known, let's say somebody is short, and you want to identify that person, there is, let's say, Muhammad, and then there is a 3 Muhammad in the room, and they will tell you which Muhammad. You don't know the last name. Then you're going to say, the short Muhammad. This one is to identify people. And of course, also it depends on the way you said it, right? Last but not the least, if what the person is well known, he is publicly or she is publicly doing something that is not right, and you say it, that's not backbiting because they are doing it publicly. So here we are, very few reasons why Allah allowed, or very few circumstances that we are allowed, but in general, this something should not be the norm and should not be majority of what we are talking. What about if I already did it now? May Allah forgive us all. These are blessed days. I want Allah to forgive me. I want to go to Jannah. And for sure, I have said, who remember what they said a week ago, let alone years ago? You do a couple of things. If you know that person, and if you are going to go and ask them for forgiveness, they will accept it, and no worse things will happen, you do it. If you don't know that person, where is he or she now, or they passed away, what you do is actually you pray for them and you do good deed for them. The last but not the least is actually, if that person also, you can't say it, what you do is not only you pray for them, but you praise them. When their name is mentioned in a gathering, you praise them. So it's opposite what you have done. And we really have to do this in this dunya before we die. Because this is what Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam said, "Man kanat indahu madlama عند الناس," whomsoever have transgressed against another human being, let them ask for forgiveness in this dunya. Because once they die, then it has to be done in the akhirah. And remember the hadith of the bankrupt. The more we clear what we need to clear in this dunya, it will be much better for us in the akhirah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us learn these things, help us to do it, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all our shortcomings.
ولا تخزني يوم يبعثون يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم.